Nick, what's
Oh, I
happening with all
got
these
it.
communication
I got it.
stocks?
Windstream announces it will spin off Actex into a publicly traded REIT. So they're gonna get that REIT status and get all that tax relief, right, Nick?
Who was that?
This isn't breaking news though. It's not breaking like right now. This was from yesterday.
So that's Windstream's news. So that's maybe something
729. Okay.
separate. But what's happening with all these other communication stocks right now? We got AT&T, Nick, just to catch you up here. AT&T popping 70 cents here right now. We got Verizon popping 80 cents. We got Frontier Communications popping. All these communications stocks are popping way up here. And we were trying to hunt the news down here, and we're thinking it's got to be something regulatory or something moving the entire industry here right now.
Yeah, I didn't see any headlines on anything that jumps out at me right now.
How would you
So
play something like this? I mean, these are too low price of stocks for you, right? You know, these are probably
No,
some.
I mean, they're big companies. I'm looking at AT&T. Technically, you can argue either bullish or bearish from a technical standpoint. I don't like the company itself. I tried their products recently, and I'm amazed that they're in business because of their customer service. And it's just technically you can argue both sides. I mean, you can see a channel, and then you can see something else going on that could argue the other side of it. So I don't know enough about the fundamental, and I would definitely. Here's my thought: whenever I don't know what's causing the move, I don't play it.
yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good tip right there, Nick. And when we're seeing these stocks, if you were fading these things this morning here, AT&T usually a 10, 20, 30 cent move up is pretty big for AT&T. And now it's up another 35 cents from there. Verizon up almost $1 here. It's hard to come fade these moves when you don't know what the news is yet.
Well, we should probably look at somebody who reported this morning, a communication-related company.
Well, they are saying that the FCC but Benzinga had this headline 3 days ago, so I don't know if you were predicting the news there because I do see the headline that the chat's talking about there too, getting the approval there for the FTR merger. I'm just trying to do all the hunting while I'm talking with you there too, Nick. I'll keep hunting there. You guys do a little bit of technicals here because this market keeps rallying here too now.
Yeah, yesterday, I was full of hope because we had erased overnight lows over the weekend. It looked pretty grim, right? And then suddenly the pre-market was looking nice, and then we fell off a cliff during the day, or at least we fizzled during the day. And today it seems like a redo of yesterday for me, like sentiment-wise. I still don't like the fact that the small caps are not leading up. That usually gives me a little more hope that run is going to sustain itself. But regardless, I think we're just going to waste time until the economic reports later this week. So starting tomorrow, I should say, when we start actually get numbers. Today we get Case Shiller in a little bit and consumer confidence. So they're little market movers, but not, market really movers like jobs, maybe ADP, because last time it was somewhat accurate. So somebody will pay attention to it this week.
Hey, Nick, I just wanted to get a question here in about just kind of like just intraday. I know you don't do a lot of intraday trading, but we've had a lot of declines early in the session, and what I'm finding is that they just don't quite get to my support levels. It just seems like, okay, I'm going to be patient. I was waiting for 1959 yesterday, got to 1965, 1960.75. I had to chase it. What do you have something that you kind of lean on intraday? Because things were looking pretty ugly yesterday, and we
Yeah.
were down quite a bit. Is there anything that you keep in your hip pocket that, I don't know if you're watching the small caps, if you're watching the cash, or is there something that clues you into these kind of moves? Because besides it's just a bull market and you got to buy every dip, is there something that you rely on or an indicator that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I watch everything. My screen has multiple little windows, and I really don't need to read the number to see which way we're turning. So I would be looking at the ES, at the TF, and those two, one would tell me where the S&P is going, well, quote unquote, the market, and one tells me where, the Russell is going, which I tend to listen to more often than the S&P, because if the S&P is popping and the Russell is not, then I'll look into the S&P's makeup, what's causing the pop. Like today, it's going to be all about Apple. In the pre-open, it's almost 100, right? 99.48. So I'm watching it. The march to 100. If it fails, I think it'll drag the whole market with it. If it doesn't, then we have a couple of bucks in Apple. Technically, over the last 3 days, I think you can argue for some sort of a cup and handle. I don't have any secret sauce, so to speak. I look at the whole picture, and every little window is a piece of the puzzle. I look at the breadth and the up-down volumes to see if like the market willingness, are they willing to go up? Then okay, and then are they buying it and going up for another window? And then I look at some momentum stocks that should be popping, and if they start losing steam, then the whole market might be losing steam. I look at like Dollar Tree and Zillow. I shorted Dollar Tree on the pop, and I was losing money. I was winning, and then I lost money yesterday on paper. And then I was given a gift in the middle of the morning where it tumbled down. I closed my short. I shouldn't have, but I chickened out and closed it. And I left the Zillow one, and I should have done the opposite. So I don't have a one indicator that tells me bail or not, but I do look at little windows, and each one just gives me a piece of the puzzle.
That's exactly it. It's all just about information and tools for your toolbox, and you're putting the puzzle together. And then people will take the pieces and they'll put the pieces together in different ways, and that's why we have a market there. So you have to find your own way you like to put your puzzle together and something that works for you. And if it gives you a good picture, that's when you execute.
And you read a lot, and every time I read somebody else, whether I like them or not, somebody else's opinion, I pick up on an indicator they're looking at, and if I like it and it gives me more, I add it to my repertoire. So I don't just dig my heels in. I know everything there is to know. Like for a while, I was watching the TNX, the TLT every day. So now I still watch them, but they're not moving in unison and not causing a move in the market the way they did for a while, where we had TLT moving up, TNX crashing, market crashing. And it was like you can count on it. Oh, and the yen. So TLT and yen were moving up, market and TNX are moving down. And it was tick for tick. But that doesn't happen anymore. Like right now, I'm looking at the TNX and it's minus 1%, 1.3%. And that would have freaked out markets a few weeks ago.
The market's not responsive to it. I noticed that too, to those movements there.
I know.
So here's one thing you said. Sorry to interrupt there. You said it's not going. They're not hitting your support levels, right? You said they fell short at 1960 and 75 cents. The bears. I've said it before. I don't know if you read any. The bears are being lazy. They're not pressing the issue whenever they have the upper hand. It's like me when I walk my dog. When he starts to tug, I just one little yank and he stays in line. So they're not letting the bulls run away. I know we're at all-time highs, but it doesn't feel like 2013, does it? I'm not scared to short. 2013, I would have needed to change the underwear every day.
Yeah.
If I was short.
All right. Well, and I know you don't do. I know you have a longer time horizon, but like in a day like today, you get some good earnings, you get a pop. If you have some longs or something that you're thinking of, taking off or doing some selling, are you looking at the first couple minutes of trading, or do you try and sit out that first 10 or 15 minutes, or if you see your price right away, you don't care where it is, you take it?
No, I don't. I don't take it. I don't chase. Chasing always got me in trouble. Whenever I feel like I need to buy it, I step back and take a breather, wait a couple minutes. If I miss it, so be it. Because then I end up I end up changing my my offer, my bid to match the price action, and that usually tells me I'm chasing up or down. So I resist. And I usually don't trade in the first couple of minutes unless I really have to. And it's because it's a mess when it comes to premiums. And if it is a mess, I use it to sell. Like after a report, sometimes the premiums are still there and I just sell something. I put a ridiculous offer to sell, and if it's taken, fine. But I don't, I avoid trading in the first couple of minutes. I usually probably avoid the whole hour too, just to see really where things are going, especially on Monday morning, because it's like a flush day for over the weekend and the Friday action. So I do not do that. And as far as playing short term and long term, I do trade short term as well, but they're not full-blown positions just because on the weekly, if you're selling premium and something happens with like a Dollar Tree announcement or something like that, and it blows through your spread and it's short spread, then you have no plan B and you're stuck. There's no rolling. You ate the whole spread. So I tend to prefer play the short term via maybe 2 week long trade. But this week I would pick on the Goog. It looks like it's one of those stocks that is showing decent resistance. It was at 600 yesterday based on the open interest. Today it's showing that they've even gotten bolder and went down to 595. So now the 592.5 shows some resistance, even though it hit it overnight, I think, or yesterday. The Goog, not the Google. And if I wanted to put a credit call spread, I would do it on Google, but not exactly at 600 unless I'm ballsy. Give yourself a little room to be wrong.
Nick, what do you think about Twitter tonight? They're going to report here earnings. I was looking at the straddle, and it was going. I can actually do the updated price from yesterday, and it was going around $4.25. What are your thoughts here on Twitter?
Twitter is hated, right? And I just can't help but think that the usage from the soccer event had some upside to it. It's kind of like having the Super Bowl inside of a month for a restaurant. You're going to have great comps. So it's the open interest is looking at, what is it now exactly? I haven't looked at it. Wait. Where is it?
The open interest on which?
No. What is the price on it? The Twitter.
It's right around $38, $38.25.
$38. Okay, so it looks like they wanted to be between 35 and 38. So there's not much room from the open interest. I can argue for some support at 38. So 38, it's worth a lot of ticket. I wouldn't invest in it until after, but like I told you before, Twitter is a long-term ticket for me. Somebody will figure out how to make money at it. It's just being used too much for them not to. And I really believe that the metrics is what hurts Twitter. They're probably the only ones that actually measures usage properly and active members properly, as opposed to, like I said it before, somebody's going to get mad at me. LinkedIn, I know they count way more active users than they actually have. If they didn't send me an email every day, I wouldn't even check it. So, and before they were counting me when I didn't even open the account. They would send me emails like I had an account with them, and I don't remember ever opening an account up until recently. So, Twitter measures properly, and that's why they look like they're slackers. But having that giant soccer event, I would not short Twitter into this earnings report.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. I mean, that could be a little bit of a driver at Facebook. I was a little bit surprised that it hardly reacted to the Facebook earnings. It got a little bit of a pop. But what people don't realize here in Twitter is that you had a move from under, 29.50 over 40. So you had a big move here. It's digesting the moves. I think I might take see if I can go lotto on like 41s or 42s. They probably still want some ridiculous amount of premium for it. I like the fact that you've had 4 or 5 days with a consolidation, a pullback, kind of look like 36 to low. I think you talked me into that one, Nick.
Also, you can probably go, if you want, to retain some asset after the fact. Even if you're wrong, you might want to go into money leaps if they have leaps. I haven't checked how far out they go on Twitter, but buy a call that's gonna retain some value.
Right, if it don't get crushed. Right.
Right, and then if it does get crushed, you can put it to work by selling against it, shorter term ones. So after the fact. But I do like, if I wanted to guess on Twitter, I'll guess upside, just because it's been hammered from the highs of 60 something just within the last 12 months. So if they're going to punish it, how hard are they going to punish it? Are they going to cut it in half? So just ask yourself that question and get comfortable with the level to pick on the long side. That's what I would do to it. You convinced me too. I think I'm going to do that as well.
74.73 is all-time high back in December. 74.73. So that was the all-time high in Twitter. Anything else on the radar for today? I mean, we talked about Apple, Google. What else you looking at?
I think, the whole, I'm trying to digest the picture, the global picture. My macro thesis is still in play. I say we've got room to move and with some drawdowns, and I don't see a major whoosh down. But I do fear the major whoosh down than the leap up, more than the leap up. So I'm tending to short pops and go long whenever something gets hammered hard, and so I end up doing these somewhat iron condor-ish in sentiment trades. So if I short the S&P, I go long, or if I short the RUT, which is the small caps, I go along the SPX, which is the S&P, as a hedge because it moves a little slower, so I have time to react. So, but the overall sentiment is that a couple of weeks ago we had pops and they were relief pops. Okay, if we had news to come out and nothing bad came out, we would have a pop and then it would reverse the next day. And it's most evident in the Momo stocks. They can't keep a 2-day run for, now it's earnings and now we're moving up on earnings. But even those, you said this morning, I think Dennis, that even some good news is not rallying some stocks on the earnings. So once the earnings goes away, what's the positive catalyst? We didn't have one going into earnings. We were just relief popping all over the place. And that's why the run is not sustainable. It's just like bursts, bursts, bursts. Well, the earnings are going to go away. And then what are we going to burst on? So that's what worries me a little bit from the bullish standpoint.
Well, Brentster, he's got some news he's hunted down here on the telecommunication stocks, and it is from that Windstream. Brent, are you still kicking around?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, we're looking around the whole space. This whole telecom space is moving. I'm guessing that what seems to be here is the street is potentially thinking that maybe after this move by Windstream a little bit earlier this morning to spin some of their real estate assets off into a REIT, it seems that the street thinks that a number of other telecoms might be able to do this.
So, and obviously AT&T and Verizon have some major assets. And look at CenturyLink. Look at CTL. Nick, you got to see this one too. CTL here this morning is trading at 41.40 right now. 37.71 this one went out. This is a stock that moves like 50 cents a day, 50 cents a dollar. Huge dividend, 5.73%, typically lower beta. We're seeing a $4 pop in this thing right now. This is an incredible move for very low beta stock.
And if you look at the stock longer term, what a move from 27, just a few months ago. Yeah, that's just crazy. Oh.
So they're thinking they might all get some REITs spinning off from some of these. That's what the street's speculating then. Wow.
And they report soon. So if they don't do the REIT thing themselves, I wonder where that's going to go. So I'm not sure. I can't play this one either way because I don't have any good information either way. So it'd be just a complete guess. And whenever I'm guessing, I do a lotto ticket, just some puts or some calls, a few $100s, nothing more, nothing less. I can't put a full position on a guess.
You think the government's going to let all these convert to REITs? And
I think it's just some assets spinning off.
Just some of it?
So,
okay.
Yeah, I think that's what they're speculating. Not that the whole company would convert, but that, they spin off some of their assets like what WIN appears to be just doing.
That's another thing that brings up this morning. I read a tweet. I think it was Zero Hedge. I'm not sure if it's correct or not, but it looks like there were 3 times. Like, was it FTX? Who reported this morning? FedEx?
UPS.
UPS.
Yeah.
They had they spent like $1.2 billion and $1.8 billion on dividends and buybacks. I don't know which was which, and like 0.8 on capex. So that's how we're driving prices up, by doing buybacks and dividends, but not actually growing the company by investing in the company itself. So that's a little worrisome that it's more financial engineering to drive prices up rather than actually making the company stronger.
AT&T and Verizon now. Wow, Verizon is just trading up $2 here now. So this is why you don't short stocks when you don't know the news, because this started with 75 cents when Nick came on. It's now up $2. AT&T now up almost $2 here as well. It's trading 37.25. This is incredible.
And Verizon was saved because it was starting to break a channel up, and that would have probably brought it back down to 200 if it broken it. So for the last since May, I would say we had a nice channel, and it runs up and then comes down, channel up, but it's starting to look bearish, and it would have probably dropped to 200 soon. But if this holds, this pop, then it's saved itself.
Sprint here popping too. S is popping up to 785 now. So the entire sector is just taking off here now.
Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. And Sprint also was looking a little bearish, right? The whole trend down, and also looking like it's going in a pattern that was not so happy.
No,
but
not
it
at
could, with this pop, it could break out. I'm not sure. I really don't like to trade Sprint. For some reason, they always seem to find themselves in headlines one way or another.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we've lost Joel. Oh, there he is.
No, I'm here. Just letting you two smart guys talk. Nic Chahine, MarketFi maven and author of Create Income with Option Spreads. Nick, we covered a lot of stocks here today. Thanks a lot for coming on, as usual, on Tuesdays. Have a good trading day, and we'll talk to you next week.
I look forward to it. Next week, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to try to make it happen, so I'll talk to Joe and make sure I can do it. If not, I'll talk to you in a week after that.
If not, you get a paid vacation.
Excellent.
Okay. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nick.